Things are heating up in the South China Sea. We've seen multiple naval skirmishes recently. Today we saw another one. It involves the same two players, China and the Philippines. Their ships collided with each other today. Let's pull up the map first. This incident happened near the Sabina Shoal, a part of the disputed Spratly Islands. Two Philippine ships were sailing in these waters today. Manila says Chinese Coast Guard vessels attacked them. They rammed into both Philippine ships. Beijing has released a video of this incident. Take a look. So who is to blame here? Well, that depends on who you ask. China claims most of the South China Sea, but no one buys their claim, not even the United Nations. Plus, it's not just China and the Philippines. You have Taiwan, Vietnam, Indonesia and Malaysia. All of them claim a piece of these waters. So it's basically a floating powder keg. Someone tried to light the fuse today. The only question is who? Both sides are blaming each other.
Morning, Philippine Coast Guard vessels encountered unlawful and aggressive maneuvers from Chinese Coast Guard vessels while en route to Patag and Lawak Islands in the West Philippine Sea. These dangerous maneuvers resulted in collision, causing structural damage to both Coast Guard vessels.
On
August 19th, two Philippine maritime police vessels intruded into the maritime territory near China's Xianbin Reef of Arnansha Islands without the permission of the Chinese government. Despite warnings from the Chinese maritime police vessels, they intentionally rammed the on-site law enforcement vessels of the Chinese maritime police in a dangerous manner.
Normally, this would be front page news, a skirmish in the high seas. So why wasn't it? Because it was always on the cards. China has been stepping up pressure in the South China Sea. First, they harassed Filipino fishing vessels. Then they clashed and tailed Philippine patrol ships. Then they fired water cannons at them. And now a collision. The question is, what next? Beijing spent the last decade expanding its navy. They have more than 700 vessels now. It is by far the largest navy in the world. So China's ambition is clear. Cement their claims over the South China Sea, which means more such clashes and misadventures. Just one problem though, there will be pushback. Today's clash is a clear example of that. Southeast Asian countries will not peacefully accept China's claims. So does Beijing have a solution? Well, yes and no. China's first strategy was trade. Most Southeast Asian nations depend on Chinese supply chains. China is their largest trading partner. So the assumption was they would roll over, that Beijing could leverage trade to secure territory. Again, just one problem. These are proud and independent countries. You can't just buy them off. Just look at Vietnam, for example. Their president is visiting China right now. Xi Jinping rolled out a red carpet for him.
中共中央总书记、国家主席习近平19号上午问，中共中央政治局常委。北越中国人民解放军仪仗队。
China has always regarded Vietnam as a priority in its neighborhood diplomacy. China supports Vietnam in adhering to the leadership of the party, taking a socialist path that suits its national conditions, and deepening reform, opening up, and socialist modernization.
Vietnam got a new president in May 2024. This is his first foreign trip after taking office and looks like it went well. He signed 14 deals with Xi Jinping. He also got a grand welcome at the Great Hall. Both China and Vietnam are communist nations, plus China is Vietnam's largest trading partner. So at first glance, it looks like a great relationship. But if you look closely, it's not all rosy. Both Vietnam and China claim ownership of the Spratly Islands. Vietnam is building artificial islands there. They're actively undermining Chinese claims. Same with the Philippines. China remains their largest trading partner, but they clash over territory. Of course, each country has a different response. Vietnam is not taking China on directly, but they are diversifying. Vietnam upgraded its relations with the US last year. Their Prime Minister visited India last month. So Hanoi is keeping its options open. The Philippines has taken a more blunt approach, perhaps because of the US. Manila is a treaty ally of Washington. US President Joe Biden has promised to defend the Philippines from aggression. Maybe that explains their confidence. Both these countries face the same problem, Chinese expansionism, but their response is different. The question is, for how much longer? So far, these clashes have not resulted in deaths. Minor injuries, but no deaths. But at this rate, who knows? China is betting on the age-old rule of politics that trade can prevent conflicts. But every country has red lines. You can't ask governments to ignore expansionism for trade. It never plays well with the domestic audience. So Beijing is playing a dangerous game in the South China Sea. It has rolled in a barrel filled with gunpowder and is now sitting atop with a matchstick. One wrong move could set things off.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On the today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can we expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. For the first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.